The thing that made me decide to set the novel in Kerala finally was a document my mother left behind. So my mother was, in her own way, a very intrepid individual. She had graduated in physics around the time India was getting independence, and there were no jobs to be had. And so she saw this advertisement for a teaching position in Ethiopia, and she had to look on a map to figure out where Ethiopia was. I mean, can you imagine a single woman in that era, 1940s, getting on a ship to Aden and then heading to, East Africa? I think it was very brave of her. But anyway, my mother, when she was in her 70s, by which time she had taught in Ethiopia, taught in America in junior high school, and finally retired to Florida. When she was in her 70s, she wrote, she was asked by my niece, Dea, who was 5 at the time. And Dea said to her, "Amachi, what was it like when you were a 5-year-old girl?" And my mother was just, blown away by this question. Where does she begin to explain to a child born in America what it was like to be a child in Maraman, and what it was like to grow up in that setting in a fairly big family? And so my mother began writing in a notebook, and she had a beautiful handwriting, but she also was a very talented artist, and she could really effortlessly sketch things. So she peppered this document with sketches of kitchen utensils, dresses, anything that needed some clarification. She'd have a sketch on the facing page. And of course, this became an heirloom for the family. We made photocopies, passed it around. But it was only when Mom was in her 90s that I picked up the manuscript again for some reason. And in rereading it, I just suddenly was certain I'm going to set the novel in Kerala. For many reasons. I thought that the geography is so unique. And I'm a big believer that geography is destiny. If I took the story and set it in, Cleveland, it just wouldn't work. It would be a very different story. So the geography is unique. And then I was going to be writing about my mother's and my community of Syrian Christians, which is sort of an exotic group within a state that's already kind of exotic. And not many people knew about this. Arundhati Roy's novel is obviously the best known English language work about Kerala, but it's been a long time since that book. And so I thought I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try and set a novel in Kerala. My mother was actually very excited in her 90s now to learn that I was writing a novel set in Kerala, inspired by her childhood stories.